Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome to our second online supplier matchup of 2024. We are so excited to share this day with you guys, and thank you for being here. For those who joined our first session in May, you are aware of the amount of information that is shared in these sessions, and sit back and be amazed with how much you will be learning today. We're very excited. We have Afrimat for the first time with us today, and then following Afrimat will be Astron Energy, and we are so excited to have both of them with us. I know that they are wanted in the world of SMMEs to get a better understanding of how their businesses work, how SMMEs can potentially work with them, and the opportunities that lay within these companies. And we are just in a very privileged position to have this platform available to everybody to have access to this information and resources. So first up, I'm very, very excited to introduce to you two representatives from Afrimat that's joining us. It's Cabello and Danielle, and they are already online and waiting to engage with you guys. So if you don't mind, Danielle and Cabello, if you can just unmute yourselves and put on your cameras, then we can just see who we're speaking to and start off the session.
Morning, everyone. My name is Danielle. Cabello, I don't know if you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Very morning, everybody. My name is Cabello Sekete. I'm the category manager for Afrimat. Looking forward to our discussion this morning.
Yes, no, we all are. Thank you so, so much. So let's just, if we can get started, perhaps. So Cabello, you introduced yourself as the category manager. Is there any specific categories that you look after?
Yes, so I'm the category manager for the cement business for Afrimat. That used to be the old Lafarge. I think for everyone on the call, one of the things that has happened is Afrimat acquired from April this year, and I look after all the production categories for the cement business.
Wonderful. I hear that was a big company to take over, and I'm sure you guys are excited, but also facing a big challenge with all the changes and everything that needs to happen to put the Afrimat stamp on there. So good luck with that, and congratulations as well with the expansion. And Danielle, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I am the buyer for 5 of Afrimat's companies: Afrimat Contracting, Afrimat Ready Mix, Clinker Supplies, SI Block, and Afrimat Silica. And I do everything from A to Z buying.
Okay, wonderful. So you're the right person. Both of you are in the right place and the right people for us to speak to today. So if I can, we can maybe start at one point, maybe from the lift or the cement side, start that with Cabello. If you can give us an understanding of procurement. Is it different to how things would work on your side, Danielle? Is it a centralized process, or do you source individually per your cat or your divisions that you work in?
Okay, so we've done a slide presentation for you guys. I'm just gonna try and share this with you.
Just Nyasha, sorry, do you mind just making Danielle co-host as well, just so that she can share her screen? There we go. You should have the opportunity now to share.
Okay, can you guys see it?
Not yet.
Come on.
There we go. We can see your presentation now.
Okay, so I'm just going to take you through the procurement process on our end. So just to give you a little bit of a background, Afrimat has a lot of different business entities within Afrimat, and each one of these entities has their own vendor registration processes, their own databases, all of that. So our procurement process, if you want to call it that, is completely decentralized. If you, for example, looking at the slide, if you are registered under cement as a vendor, it does not mean that you are registered under clinker supplies as a vendor. So for each business entity within Afrimat, you need to register individually. Also, looking at the slide here, if you go onto the Afrimat website, there's a tab on there that says branch locator. So on the branch locator, you would be able to see, for example, cement has, I think it's 15 or 20 sites. So that also has a completely, each site will most likely have a individual buyer on them. So you would have to contact that specific person depending on the site or the area that you are located in. Then also with regards to advertising, we don't advertise online or any of that, but we do run RFPs. So we'll most likely send out emails to current and potential vendors with regards to any advertising or any potential upcoming projects that we do have. Then just to tie in back to that on our vendor listing. So on our website, you'll also find there's an email that says procurement@afrimat.co.za. You can send an email to that if you do want to become a vendor on our vendor lists. Again, tying back into the branch locator, when you send an email to us, please indicate what region you are in. It doesn't help that we try and add you to a vendor list that is in Meyerton, but you are actually based in KZN. Also indicating your BEE level, your products or services, so that when we do receive that email, we do know which specific buyer to forward your application to. Kabelo?
Yeah, next slide. And I think one of the things that's I think is important for everyone on the call is that what can you do to stand out as a vendor, right? So some of the things that we do look out for as Afrimat is obviously quality and reliability. So it's also important when you do also approach us, we also have a sense in terms of references that you have, so that at least it gives us an indication in terms of both your quality and reliability. Speed and flexibility. I think with the industry that we are in, it's quite key that none of our plants should be standing for a long time. So we do require suppliers who are quite nimble, who are a lot more times who are closer to our sites. For the different areas, as Danielle has mentioned, that we are decentralized, because that speed and flexibility allows us to be more nimble and make sure that we keep our operations running efficiently and effectively. And I think the one other thing, the next point is around value for money. You know, it's important for all our vendors to understand their pricing models. They need to have a good understanding of the cost drivers for all the services and goods that they have, because in our discussions, that's something that's quite important. And we're always looking out for value for money. It's not always about saying we'll always go for the cheapest. So if let's say our vendors understand total cost of ownership, we also then need to understand the value of that product. Whereas if something might be slightly more expensive but lasts longer, in terms of our total cost of ownership or value for money, that's something that we will always look for. So it's not always for us to be looking for the cheapest, but it's the value for money for the products that we're looking for. And the last point that I think that we stress is strong service and clear communication. I think one of the most important things is understanding what is happening with our vendors. So if there is a service or a PO that has been sent, services or requests that have been sent, just understand that there are timelines. So if we do send RFQs, and you've been invited, I think it's also important for the vendors to keep the time, because in terms of our processes, if let's say we say the vendor closes at 2 p.m., we're not going to accept any responses at 2:01. You know, it's things like that are also important in terms of the service, because we expect on the other side the type of service where we get into it. And one of the key drivers, because it's more of a partnership, we do expect that our vendor should be committed to a business as we are to theirs, because at the end of the day, this is more of a partnership between the two parties.
Agreed. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's something that not everybody understands, is that businesses need mutual respect, and it's a two-sided relationship. You know, to make one successful, the other one also needs to come to the party at the same commitment. So yeah, that's very exciting to hear. And thank you for sharing all that information with us. I wanted to ask you something. Is there any tips? You know, I know you've said how, you know, a couple of the main important things, but if you were to speak to someone and just say, what is one tip that you can give if they want to now present their business, if they have an opportunity, they've sent the email, how is the best presentation of that email for them to present their business in an attractive manner for Afrimat to go, oh, wait, this is something interesting to look at?
I think from our side, one of the things that is key is our vendors need to understand their value proposition, but also their service. I think the key challenge that I think one of what I also find is that small suppliers want to be general dealers, right? Which is not something that we look for. I think we would want our suppliers to understand what it is that they are providing, and they shouldn't necessarily be a generalist. We're definitely looking for people who are let's say
Who know what they are
specific to
selling, yes.
yeah. And when that does it makes it a compelling case for further discussions. But when somebody now offers 100 different things that sometimes are not related, it becomes challenging to have further discussions in terms of potential opportunities available in the business.
I agree. It's something actually that we at Smart Procurement have picked up is a regular consensus amongst businesses, is that you know, everybody trying to accomplish and present so many different services, just try to get one foot into a business does not make your business look more professional. And a lot of tips that we, you know, that SMMEs that have been successful with having multiple different you know, specialized services, is you present one option to one company, and as the relationship develops, after, you know, you've got an opportunity with that business, then the opportunity will present itself somewhere down the line during a conversation or any, you know, any engagement that you can say, oh, but I do also do this. But there's already a trust relationship built, and then there's an opportunity to expose or to explore other opportunities. Not that it's a guarantee, but it is a general consensus amongst a lot of businesses that SMMEs need to approach with one specialized service or product when engaging with the business. So fully agree with that. And actually, we have a session happening in about 2 weeks that's actually talking to that specifically to SMMEs, that will hopefully benefit and give a better insight to that. So I just wanted to know if do you currently have any sourcing needs within Afrimat that potentially people within our audience are able to apply for? Maybe share some of their profiles to that email address that you're looking for at the moment.
Paulina, to answer that one for you, yes, we are currently. Again, it just completely depends what region you are in. So I'm going to be completely speaking out of my region right now. But I do know in my region right now, we are looking at tires and more specifically PPE consumables, i.e. masks, goggles, gloves, things like that. So those are the main categories that we are sourcing vendors for at the moment.
Okay, perfect. And your regions are more within, let's say, call it Gauteng,
Yes, so we
and-
call it the Northern Cluster. So it's more the companies all year from Vereniging van der Bijl all the way Joburg, Pretoria, Nelspruit.
okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And Kambelo, on your side?
On our side, I think we do have similar inquiries going out to the market on PPE. But we also, I think from cement, there's a couple of raw material requirements, which I'm not sure if there are any on the call. So some of the raw materials that we currently looking out for are gypsum, magnetite, and coal.
Okay. I'm sure within our network, we do have a couple of people that can help. Is that region specific? I'm not sure. You said you're
That
covering
would
all the
be
cements.
specific. That would be for our plant in Lichtenburg in the northwest.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. It's good to know. But if we do, we'll share that as well with our database. That if we have anybody that we could refer to you, then we'll communicate that with you as well.
Yeah.
So any last comments before we go on to the Q&A session? Any last thoughts that you would like to leave with the SMMEs from your guys' side?
Paulina, sorry, I just want to tie into that last question. If there are any SMMEs that are transport companies with BEE levels, they need to please send me an email.
No problem. So afterwards, I'll just get information, everything that you would like. We'll put it all tied together in an email, and I'll share that with everybody with the recording afterwards,
Okay.
100%.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Sorry, any last remarks before we move over to questions?
No, all good.
I think one last one from our side is that we actually have two cement plants. So one is in Randfontein and the other one is in Lichtenburg. So if the guys are not aware of where we are situated, those are our two main plants. And we also do have a quarry in Lichtenburg that we also look after that supplies lime to our cement plant. So related services around those type of plants are something that we'll definitely look at. It might not necessarily be for now, but in the next 6 months, there's quite a lot of work that we will be doing in terms of looking for new contractors, but not in the necessarily the immediate future.
Yes, perfect. That's good. At least to get a database started so long so that you're ready when the time comes. All right, so I think we can move over to the Q&A session just to allow the audience just to ask some questions. So if anybody in the audience has some questions they would like to ask to Danielle or Kabelo, do you mind raising your virtual hand? And then we'll give you an opportunity to unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, Fatima, I see you raised your hand. Do you mind unmuting yourself quickly and just asking your question?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Fatima here from Corpchem Chemicals. I actually put the question in the chat earlier on to ask what are the payment terms from Afrimat to SMMEs, because sometimes not sometimes, a lot of times we are challenged by cash flow challenges. So I just wanted to ask, and a lot of companies sort of expect you to carry them for like 60 days, which is 30 days after statement. And that does impact us, at the end of the day.
Okay,
Hello?
Fatima. Yes.
Yes.
I'm just going to answer you from my end because again, each business unit within Afrimat works differently. So it completely depends what business unit you are a vendor on. So from my perspective, I do know on my companies, we do 30 days and 60 days with a lot of our vendors. But we also do have vendors where we understand that they've got hurdles or things that come out, and then we do make an adjustment or whatever you want to call it on our end to try and help out with regards to that perspective from the payment side. So I just think it completely depends what your discussion with the relevant buyer for the business entity was with regards to the payment terms.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Ben Ramoshu, do you mind unmuting yourself and posing your question quickly?
Morning.
Good
No
morning.
problem. I don't mind unmuting myself. So I was just listening in on a couple of the opportunities that Mr. Cabello and Danielle has mentioned to us. So I'm kind of interested in the, PPE consumables together with the tire supply, and I am operating as a transport business. So I just wanted to find out, with Mr. Cabello being the manager of the cement manufacturing company, do they utilize your various vehicles, maybe a tote liner, for instance, to transport that type of product? Or, how could I take advantage of that opportunity as a transport company?
All right. We do have transporters that use tot liners in our business. So I think the easiest would be for you to send me your profile, and we can then take that discussion further. But we are always on the lookout for transporters for our products.
Okay, sir, and thanks for that. And then with regards to the PPE on the side of Danielle, I just wanted to know, would I be also able to penetrate on that opportunity, because I am interested in being a supplier for tires, especially because I'm in the transport industry. So I have different networks where we could even compete in terms of the prices that we supply you with.
Yes, Ben, no, definitely. I think, as Cabello said, you can just pop us an email to the procurement@afrimat.co.za email, and then I will share the email with Cabello so that he also has your company profile for the transport side as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got 8 minutes left, so we're going to see how many questions we can get through. Malasela Mohale, do you mind unmuting quickly?
Morning, everyone. This is Masa Samal Mokhale from Masa Samal Mokhale Business Enterprise. I wanted to know if there's a deposit that you can pay. Do you pay deposit before you procure, or we just deliver without that deposit?
From our side, we rarely pay deposit. A lot more times the deposits that we have paid for the business have mostly been for import of materials, but we currently do not pay any deposits for normal service or products sourced locally. But it can be a negotiation that we have.
Thank you. Bernie, Daddy, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So my question is, I don't necessarily have tires or anything like that, but we are a training company that specializes in occupational health and safety training and compliance. And would there be an opportunity for us to actually send an email to your procurement department? And we are based in the Western Cape. We're looking at building a national footprint. Thank you.
Benedict, yes, so I definitely think so. I do know the ladies here on our sides that would be dealing with that. So I think, yes, send an email to the procurement email address. I just need to confirm who is responsible for that function in the Western Cape, because I know who's responsible for it here with me. And then I can share your profile with them. But yes, I do think there's definitely opportunity for that.
Thank you. And then just one last question just on that is that when we send the email to procurement at Afrimat, what do we put in the subject line? Do we say COC SMME? What do we do so that it actually gets the attention and it doesn't go into a holding queue?
So just to give you a bit of background, the procurement email is on, it's not one person managing it. We are a couple of people managing it. So I also have it on my email and I go through it once a day. So I think looking at the slides, as long as you've got your product or service indicated on the email, your company profile, your contact details, and you specify, because it's very difficult for me to determine who that profile is going to if you don't specify the region. So as long as the region is
Absolutely.
in
So
there,
it
then
would,
at least I know who's going to be dealing with you and I can send that on to that specific person.
okay. So basically it would be a which is training Western Cape based in Strand, and this is a list of services.
That's
And then the
perfect,
BE
yes.
documents.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Vincent Mtembu, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself? We've got 4 minutes.
Morning, everyone.
Mhm.
I would like to check, man, if it's possible for the companies that we need to, or if we want to submit for vendor number, if we can maybe after the meeting, then we can get email address where we can submit the profiles as well, because as we are busy in the meeting, it's not easier for us to write the email that I mentioned. Thanks.
So
Yes,
Vincent,
Vincent.
sorry, Danielle, what we do is we record the session and we send an email from, it will come from me, Paulina, with the email addresses and, any information shared as well as the presentations we also attach that will have that references for you. So you don't necessarily need to make notes or that now. You'll get all of that in a follow-up email after the session. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Solofelo, do you mind quickly unmuting yourself? Quickly ask your question.
Morning, everyone. This is Lifika from Bontu. Solofelo is my boss. Afrimed just acquired a quarry just next to us here in Butibe village. Now, I heard they are taking over the operations in the quarry, and we are interested in earth-moving equipment. Now, I was just asking if maybe as a small company, but we can manage to get 1 or 2 earth-moving machines. Is there an opportunity that we can approach Afrimed as a local for that particular machine to get some work there at the quarry? Thank you.
All right. The one thing is that Afrimed insources, so does their own loading and hauling and drilling and blasting. It's a lot different from what the old Lafarge used to do. So unfortunately, in terms of that opportunity, the business operates on its side, but there is also opportunity. There could be opportunities on the ancillary equipment or maybe road maintenance opportunities, which you can send an email and just advise on that.
Okay. Okay. No, thank you. Thank you. We will look into that. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. I think we can.
Ancillary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Solofelo, were you finished with your question, or can we try and fit in one more question? Okay. I can't hear Solofelo, sorry. So, and let's try one last question. Jeffrey. Oh, okay, that's fine. Jeffrey, do you mind quickly want to ask your question?
Yes, please. Good morning.
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 My question is in regard with the services. We are in the services industry. We do maintenance and engineering. So how do we approach the required people? Basically, you know that also the requirements may be different from buying. We need assistance with that.
Send your information to that email, as Daniel has said, and we'll be able to then unpack and see the applicability of those services at our different plants, and we can take it from there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry. We will not have chance to get to everybody's questions. It is now 9:30 and it's time for us to move over to our next buyers. So I wanted to firstly thank Danielle and Cabello so much for being here today. We really appreciate the insight that you've shared about working with Afrimat and opportunities and ways to get a bit more information on how to go about any opportunities within Afrimat. And we will definitely have a comprehensive email. Any questions that have not been asked, we ask that you put it in the chat. We will then share those questions with Danielle and Cabello after the session. And once we have their feedback, we will add it into our email going to the audience so that everybody has responses for that. But thank you once again, Danielle and Cabello, for sparing some time for us and for joining us today. We will definitely keep in touch with you. But yeah, it's time for us to move over. But thank you so much. And
That's
I
a
hope you
pleasure.
guys
Enjoy
have
your
an
day.
amazing
Thank
day.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.